everyone and welcome to the playthrough for Expert Division in the Summer Major Tournament. The video is sponsored by Gold Clash and Playdemic, so let's go! So we're going to start off with hole number 1 here, and hole number 1 we're going to play left side. And before we take our shot, do not forget to check out the video description down below. You can see direct timestamps for the specific holes down there. That is very, very important. So if you do not want to watch those 25 minutes for the full video, then press the timestamp of the hole that you want to watch. Then you will come directly to that specific hole. So hole number 1, our opponent's going to go right side, and you know, I don't blame him for doing so. To go on the right side gives him an open shot towards the pin, but if he puts himself in the rough, then he's going to have a big problem. So our turn, we're going to play with a quarterback here, and I do suggest that you do play with a quarterback if you're going to play the left side, and the safe way, I will have to call it. Max top spin, max side spin to the right, because we do want to counter for the slope that we're going to have on the fairway there down to the left. Then we're going to adjust this one for 9.5 rings, so we're going to add 10% in our adjustment here for this drive. So as you can see here, we're going to get it to bounce where we want to, and then we're going to roll there to the top. So even though we are not close to the top, we're still going to have a very good snipe range for this distance. The thing to have in mind to go on the left side is that you don't want to go too far. Then you're going to be in long iron range, and that is going to be so much tougher in my opinion, especially if you're going to be in between club with a tailwind that you're going to have. If you do have a bunch of berserkers, maybe a turbo ball or a snow globe ball, then you can try to go on the right side instead, to give yourself that like full blast drive. If you haven't seen it, check out my my stream that I had yesterday from Master Division, where you can see me going full blast down the middle. Went over 600 yards. That was just a crazy shot. So now our turn. Now we're going to play this shot as it would be uphill, even though it's downhill. Very weird. That means that we're going to have to subtract 20% of our normal adjustment. As you can see here, we're going to be in basically minimum distance with our sniper, and we're going to go with 3.5 bar of backspin combined with 3 bars of side spin to the right. And the thing that we do want to change directly is that we do want the ball guy line to go through the hole, so we're going to go with a 3 bar there. We're going to go with 5 rings, and the reason we go with only 5 rings, that is even more like to subtract than 20%. The reason for that is that the ball is going to like the trajectory of our landing position is going to like drop down in the bunker, and then we're going to lose even more distance. Then we have to adjust for that. Hole number 2, and hole number 2 is going to be a par 3, and now we're going to play this one by bouncing on that island, but fairway spot that we do have down left. The reason we're going to do that is I do believe that is the most consistent play for us, that we can get the ball close and also going to have no problem to get the ball to stop. If we're going to bounce just after the rough there, it requires a kingmaker ball, but most likely going to require another type of club. We're going to adjust this one for a little bit over 11 rings, so 11.5 rings. And as we're going to play this one 30% extra, so we're adding 30% to our adjustment here. Get it to bounce there on the top, which is nice, and then we're going to roll towards the pin here. It's a good shot though, even though we go a bit short, but that is the thing that you do get while bouncing there. Either you go a bit too long or you go a bit too short, as the bounce there is not something that you can be like spot on with. So 1 top spin, max side spin to the right, and then you adjust 30% extra when it comes to playing with the sniper on that position. So our opponent is going to go with the Guardian. He's going to go with the same type of play, just that he's going to go with the Guardian instead. Is it perfect? As you can see here now, coming up a little bit too much to the right here. Even though it's going to roll down, you really do want to use more curl. As you can see, I used basically like half a ball of curl to the right, a little bit more though. Hole number 3. Now we're going to play on the right side, and this play can be played with whatever driver you might have. You just need curl. So the Apocalypse is definitely the best, and you can play this shot even though if you have an Apocalypse level 2, level 3. So it doesn't have to be an Apocalypse level 6. Even though you can see it here in the example. 8.2, we're going to play this one, as you can see, 6 rings. We're going to play 10% extra due to that slight downhill approach. And then like max curl that we do have, and as you can see here now we're hitting it very absolutely perfect with 4 bars topspin, max side spin to the left, and we're going to go go close to the rough there, but as you can see we did over adjust the shot as well, so we do have some room for hitting the ball great on on the left side. Now we did hit great on the right side, and therefore we'll go a little bit too much to the right. But in the end, this approach is definitely the best approach in my opinion on hole number 3 with this type of wind, because now we're going to have a very good opportunity to get this one close to the pin. And sure, I've been very consistent when it comes to playing on the left side, and I don't think that is a bad way to play. But as to using the curl, using a slight amount of overpower combined with the side spin, then this shot is going to definitely help you with your approach to the pin, and actually do and give you a good attempt for an albatross. Our opponent goes into the rough, and as you can see there, it was due to the lack of curl, and also like that he didn't hit it perfect either. So now we're going to play with our sniper in minimum distance here. 7.8 in wind. We're going to go and take some backspin here combined with side spin. 4.5 bars backspin, 2 bars of side spin to the left. We need to counter for the push that we're going to get when hitting the fairway, which is like coming from right to left here. And now we're going to adjust 7.8 minimum distance sniper. We're going to adjust 7 rings. We hit it perfect. As you can see, we get it to bounce, we get a high bounce here and come in like fairly close, just with like 1 bar backspin more, like half a bar of backspin than we shouldn't have, but at least we're going to get it a little bit closer though, and then we definitely have a good attempt for an albatross from that distance. Our opponent here, as you can see, is still going to be able to reach fairly close with the Nirvana here, even though he gets it into the rough. So hits it great on the right side. Now this is going to be pushed out to the left here. That's a bit unlucky though, but you know, it's going to be very tough to hit that spot between the rough and from the bunker from that distance. But the thing to have in mind, like for the drive, if you're going to miss that fairway into the rough or into the bunker, then you need to miss further up, then you're going to be able to reach for the green anyway though. So hole number 4, and now you're going to see me try an approach that might going to be a bit too risky for you, but the reason that we're going to go with that one is that we do want to stay away from having to bounce on the fairway just before the green, so we get that very weird bounce. So that is why we're going to play with a very aggressive line here for the drive. Like as a normal drive, otherwise use 5 bars of topspin, bounce over here as you can see, but you do need to use less topspin if you go into, or sorry, left less overpower if you're going to get the ball to stop on that fairway. So as you can see, we do have the big top at level 6. And now you're going to be able to see me making a bad adjustment with this shot. We should be adjusting this one 6 rings, but we are going to adjust it way more. And the thing that we are looking for here with going with, as you can see, like it's way over adjusted. I adjusted like 10 rings. But the reason I'm using this example is that we're going to play this shot on every division. And the thing that I mean with that is I do want the ball to bounce up there, but way more on the right side. To get that roll, so we roll over to the fairway spot on the top right. So might not be the best example, but I'm going to show you a shot with the big topper there, as we're going to have a good amount of topspin with that one. So we actually can put ourselves in a situation where we are on that fairway platform up to the right, going to give us a much easier a way to approach with a thorn than it is to approach like with a Saturn or with a Tsunami, as then we're not going to have enough backspin to let the ball stop directly onto the green close. We will have enough backspin to get it stop on the green, but we're not going to have enough backspin to be able to make this ball stop in the hole in a good way. So from this distance, then we just have to get this one to green. Not anything special. You should be thinking about using like maybe an Amazon as a rough iron club, maybe a Houdini as a sandwich club. The reason for that is that both have an amazing amount of backspin. Then we take away the risk of having to bounce. As you can see, like it's sloping down there. You can see on the ball guideline here, which is going to be, if you do miss this shot and over adjust it for an example, then you're going to bounce back into the rough or into the bunker. And that is the thing that we wanted to take away as much as possible. That is why we're going with a very risky drive. We get it up there, and when going into the bunker, then it's only the focus for us to get the birdie and then leave the hole and focus on the next one. Hole number 5, and now we're going to play a par 5 here, where we are going to go with the middle approach. Middle approach will be like you bounce on the second platform in the middle there to bounce over to the next one and leave ourselves with a wood club to the pin. 4 bars of topspin combined with 2 to 4 bars of side spin to the right. Then we're going to drag our adjustment out so we can see the landing position be there on that platform, and then we're going to adjust our rings from that position. So we're going to go with around 6 rings, so it's 10% extra for this adjustment, and then we go with slight amount of overpower just because that we actually need it though. We'll get it to bounce on the platform there with 4 bars of topspin, and we're going to roll down towards the right corner. Now we are going to might want to take away the side spin to the right because that got too close. Because if we miss that platform going to the rough or into the bunker on that specific distance, then we're not going to be able to reach for the green in 2. But now we're definitely going to reach for the green in 2, and now we're going to have a good attempt when it comes to playing with our sniper. So our opponent's going to try the left side, and that is no. Because he's not going to be able to reach for the green into going on the left side there. Even though he makes his best drive possible, then he's not going to be able to reach from that distance. Might with an Apocalypse level 7 to get that back topspin to roll like further down. But now from the rough it's going to be absolutely impossible. So we're going to have a sniper max distance, and now we're going to adjust and play it from this island here, or sorry, this fairway spot that is amongst the bunker there. We're going to move 1 square to the right, or 1 grid to the right on the screen. 7.5, we're going to rely on the rings being valued 1 mile per hour per ring. So we're going to go with 7.5 rings. We move up the landing target there a little bit in the end, as we're going to drop down in the bunker and due to the trajectory lose some distance. Get a good shot though, even though we hit it great, still a good shot, but we need to hit it perfect to get closer to the green. Might want to move it a little bit more out to the right instead of using the adjustment that we did now. Hole number 6. And now we're going to play massively downhill. The ball is going to be affected way more, so we're going to adjust this one 50% extra. Now we're going to have some tailwind, so if you're not having a Thor's hammer level 6 or level 7 with or a rocket level 10, then you should go and play on the island. So with this type of cloud like the quarterback, then I suggest that you play on the island just behind there to get that one to bounce on the island over towards the green and just leave yourself for an easy birdie. This is a birdie hole, my friends. This is not going to be a hole-in-one hole. So have that in mind when going into it, so you're not like overthinking and doing something stupid and put yourself in the rough or in the bunker. As you're going to see here now, it's going to bounce there, and just with the low amount of backspin combined with the extended ball guideline that you do get with tailwind, then you're going to put yourself in the rough or in the bunker many of the times. So we do have the quarterback as well, but we're going to change and we're going to play with the sniper. Max side spin, and then we're going to go with more backspin than that. We're going to go with 4 or 5 if I'm not mistaken here. So 8.5, I'm going to adjust our sniper for being a max distance with 50% extra. So you can see we're going with 10 rings first, and then we're going with 3.5 rings. So 13.5 rings. Slight amount of curl against the wind. And then we wanted to bounce on the island to bounce ourselves in towards the pin here with the side spin. As you can see, we're coming in pretty nicely. We do need more curl if we're going to get this one to stop towards the pin, but it's going to be very, very tough to get this ball to bounce and with that perfect amount of speed, so we stay away from the rough on the left. Rough to go short and also to go over. So our turn now. Now we're going to go for a hook shot here towards the pin, and that is a shot that I do suggest you to do. The reference point that I'm using is the one that we're going to talk about now. When having 7, 8 and 9 in wind, we're going to go with 4 bars of topspin, max and side spin to the left, and we're going to go max overpower. That is something that we need to have in mind here. We're going to use the hill there, we're going to use the rocks there. Now I'm using, when I stretch out my landing target, I use the very top of the rocks there on the right, and that is going to be too much. As you can see there, we're coming up there nicely, but we need to use less, so we'll come in more to the left there to stay away from the rough. So the thing that we need to do is that we want to be on the right side on the rocks. We do want to be halfway up on the right side of the rocks. That is a reference spot that we're going to take, as it's very, very hard to counter rings while playing on the right. So halfway up on the rocks, and then you're going to be golden. Max curl with the iPad. 4 bars of topspin, don't use more than that, otherwise you're going to come in too hot. And if you do have landscape mode or you do have like split screen mode, then of course you're going to have such an advantage over other players that to get that one to come in with a different angle towards the pin and therefore have an easier time to land it onto the green. But this shot is definitely possible with iPad. We just need to adjust it a little bit better from this distance though. So hole number 7 is by far the best chance to get something extra, and that is something that we need to get. If we're not getting the extra on hole number 7, we need to consider that one as a disappointment though. We're coming in too hot here, as you can see, bump going through the hole here. I suggest that you use a couple of bars of backspin instead. Hole number 8, lost, like the turtle shell. Now it's only for us to get it to stop either on the green or just roll down and stop on the fairway. I think that is important to have in mind. We do not want to come in too hot. We do not want to risk hit any type of rough or bunker here, because then the hole is going to be so much trickier than it's supposed to be. We're going to go with the sniper. We're not going to go max backspin, but at least close to it. Our opponent, as you can see, even though with a good amount of backspin, coming in too hot because he do forget to adjust for the elevation. And the elevation adjustment we are using here on this example, as we're going to have tailwind and going to reduce our shot a little bit here, then we're going to go with 20 to 25% extra adjustment due to playing downhill. 7.4, and we're going to go max backspin with the sniper. We are adjusting from max distance basically down to mid distance of our club. So we're going to, as you can see, there's 5, and then we're going to adjust for 10 rings with the sniper, and then we're going to go and hit the ball perfect, but we hit it great. But with the amount of backspin that we do have, so instead of getting it to stop up there, we're going to fall down and have no problem to get it to stop on the fringe or on the fairway. And that is the thing that we're looking for if we hit the ball great, or if we might are just slightly off with our adjustment there. Then we need to at least find ourselves a way to get the ball to stop, so we're not getting down into the rough or into the bunker. And that we do, which I'm happy with. So hole number 9, now we're going to play on the left side here. You can play straight forward, but it does require you to be very close to the top there to be able to reach for the rough bump for your second shot. I do the rough bump in pro, and you will be able to see that one there, as I do think it's easier with a quarterback to get it very close to the top there. Now max top spin and max side spin to the right, and we're going to adjust this one to be 10% extra with our adjustment. So we're going with 6 rings, 1 ball of curl. Now we do want the ball to bounce on the fairway here. It's very, very common that we do cut the rough to roll out, as we do here. We do cut the rough and we roll out. We need to go with way less curl, and the thing that we want to do is, of course, to get it as close to the right side as possible. And that is why it's very important, that is why it's very easy to over adjust our shot as we do there. Our opponent's going to try to go with the same type of shot as we do. With an approximate level 2, it's definitely possible. You do need to use max topspin though, otherwise you're going to have a problem there, as you're going to go too short, in my opinion. So gets it to bounce and get it over there. And now with that low amount of topspin, it's definitely going to get to stop before the bunker there. And that is the only thing that we'll need to be a little bit worried about, so we are not going into the bunker there down to the left there. So we do have the big dog level 8 here. And now we do need to go with some side spin. Like as you can see, max side spin, we go with 3 bars of topspin. We're going to go with overpower combined with curl here. So this is going to be a tough approach, and as we are not reaching further than we do, then we're definitely going to have a harder time. So max overpower. We did great on the right side. Then I'm going to curl it in and have the side spin to help us here to get this ball towards on the green, and be very happy with the adjustment here for hole number 9. So ladies and gentlemen, this was the playthrough for Expert Division in the Summer Major Tournament, the Porthello Cove. You can play the holes in regular on tour number 10, the World Links. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. So if you do have any questions, make a comment in the comment section below. Good luck in the Summer Major.